Welcome to Manhood Mindset, man. We're going to go ahead and start this thing on out right, man. You're just listening to Outcast Elevators, man. ATL's own Outcast. I'm your host, Big Chris, man. Thank y'all so much for listening in. We got a special guest in the house tonight, man. Just in case if you guys don't know exactly what Manhood Mindset is, man, we're basically a show that talks about the mental health and all types of awareness dealing with our community, right? So what we're going to try to do this evening is we're going to talk about meditation mindset. So we got a lot of things going on. I know a lot of people are kind of excited about Black Panther that just came out not too long ago. Actually, last Thursday around midnight or whatnot. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to talk to a special guest. And with a lot of things that's going on in our society, a lot of men are finding out new ways to meditate and get rid of the distractions. All right.
Egyptian yoga is actually a Greek. Egypt is actually a Greek term.
Okay.
So, Kemet is the actual ancient term of Egypt.
Okay. So, Kemet is the ancient term of Egypt. All right.
Right.
For the people who need to know.
Kemetic yoga.
Okay. Kemetic yoga. All right. And for the people who really just never heard of Kemetic, if they say Egyptian yoga, would they be out of pocket?
I wouldn't necessarily say that you're out of pocket for those. You have a lot of people who don't know exactly what Kemet is.
Gotcha.
They know what Egypt is because that's what they was taught.
Gotcha.
In school.
Gotcha. And a lot of people don't understand how many names were changed of original lands and people and nations and stuff like that. So a lot of us are trying to research and find out exactly what the root of everything is and the proper names of everything, because there's power in the name, right? So what we're going to try to do, man, is we're trying to get into your mindset, because we need to find out who you are, where you from, what your journey was, and how did you even get into yoga. So can you tell us about your upbringing, your childhood, and all of that?
Okay, I was raised in Decatur, Decatur, Georgia.
For sure.
I wouldn't necessarily say that I come from the suburban area, but some people would call it the hood, or or ghetto, or whatever you would like to call it.
A lot of people have different names for everything.
So the way I came up, my mom, she moved from Atlanta to Decatur.
Okay.
My apartment was burnt down when I was about 8, so we had to move out of. It was East Hampton at the time.
Okay.
In East Atlanta, Georgia.
All right.
So we moved from there, moved to Gresham, which is in Decatur off Gresham Road.
Okay.
From there, and when we moved from there, we moved to another part of Decatur, which is Wesley Chapel.
Okay.
Throughout those times of moving, I went to 3 different elementary schools.
All right.
The first one was Terry Mill.
Oh, man, you went to Terry Mill over there in East Atlanta, over Fayetteville Road?
Right.
Whoa. Small world.
Yeah. That's where I'm originally from.
For sure.
Then I moved from there to Gresham, stayed in by Gresham Gresham Road for about a year or two.
Okay.
Left there and moved towards Wesley Chapel
All right.
and Flat Shoals Parkway, where me and you met up at Chapel Elementary.
Most definitely. Okay. So, and you say and pronounce your name one more time for the audience so people can hear you clearly.
Basu Ari.
Basu Ari. So what does Basu Ari mean?
Basu means a Kemetic Yoga Instructor.
Okay. All right. So it's a title.
Yes, it's a title.
It's a title. Okay. All right.
And Ari actually comes from Ari Makhet.
Okay.
It's an Egyptian name or a Kemetic name.
Okay. Okay.
Ari means the balance of the scales of my eye. He's the protector.
Okay. And Ma'at is a specific entity, a being, a deity. What is that?
Ma'at is a goddess of Egypt or Kemet.
Okay, a Kemetic goddess.
So, yeah, Ma'at is one of a known goddess, and she actually has 42 laws that the Egyptians live by. To stay living in harmony and balance.
Okay. All right. And so is that what yoga actually brings to the individuals who participate in it? Gives them a sense of balance, is a sense of peace when there's a whole bunch of chaos going around?
Yeah, it also brings that, but yoga also helps to heal.
Okay, heal what exactly?
It helps to heal the body.
Okay. Give us run that down for us.
And it also helps to heal the soul and spirit.
Okay. Elaborate on that for us.
So with semi-Tai way, let me break down what semi-Tai way is, which semi-Tai way means Egyptian yoga. So that would be the Metaneta name, which is the language for the Egyptians or the Kemetians.
Okay.
So semi actually means yoga.
Okay.
And Tai way means between the two lands. The two lands are Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt.
Okay. Upper and Lower Kemet.
Upper and Lower Kemet.
Right. I'm just practicing. I ain't cutting you off. I'm trying to practice saying the right thing.
Oh, hey, go ahead, my brother.
Do your thing, man. All right, go ahead. So it's okay. Upper and Lower Kemet. All right. I'm writing this stuff down too, so I can make sure I understand it. All right. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So Tai way means Upper and Lower Kemet.
Spell that. Spell Tai way for me.
Taui.
Okay.
Or you can spell it Tawi.
Okay. All right.
So you have Upper and Lower Kemet, and that's what Egyptian yoga is based on.
Okay.
The culture of Africa.
Okay.
The culture of Egypt.
Okay.
So you have these gods and goddesses. You have Heru, who is the ruler of Upper Egypt.
Okay.
And you have Set, who is the ruler of Lower Egypt.
Okay.
Or you can call it Kemet.
All right. And Lower Egypt is specifically Kemet. That's the region.
Right. Those are the two lands.
Okay.
Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, or Upper Kemet and Lower Kemet.
Got you. And upper is Heru and the lower is Set.
Set.
Okay. All right. And basically the reason why I'm asking you like this is there's a lot of people who are listening to the show, and anything that we can learn from or just find out that exists, man, because we talk a lot about culture, and culture is a vast word, and a lot of people think they know culture, but they have not been exposed to a lot of different things. So when I'm asking you these questions, man, I'm trying to come from the mindset of somebody who's never ever heard of any of this before. So if it gets kind of repetitive, man, that's who I'm speaking on behalf of.
It's okay.
For sure.
Cause before I started, I never heard of it before.
For sure. All right, continue. Go ahead, do your thing.
Yoga though, we got to get back on yoga. Before we go into details, you have to understand what yoga means.
Okay.
Yoga means to connect, to link, for union, to bring together,
all right,
or to yoke. That's what yoga means.
To yoke. Okay.
To yoke.
Okay.
Now, what are we linking to, or what are we connecting to?
All right.
It means to connect to the divine consciousness, the original source.
All right.
So whatever you may call your salvation, your God, your goddess, whatever it is, you're linking back to that.
Understood. Okay, so basically, say for instance, if I came from my culture background, I say I'm trying to link to a higher power, or some people call him God, and some people call him Allah. Basically, you're trying to connect with your higher self, the creator of all things. Whoever created you, that's who you're trying to connect with.
Right.
Gotcha.
No religion involved at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so a lot of people don't understand the difference between religion and the spiritual connection. A lot of people think that's the same thing.
Right.
As a matter of fact, can you tell us your understanding of the difference between the two, a religion? Why are you saying it's not a religion for people who listen?
The reason I say it's not a religion, because it's like with yoga, you're only enhancing whatever it is your belief is.
Okay.
Yoga is about meditating on the teachings of whatever it is that your belief is.
Okay. All right.
So you're meditating on the teachings. So I give you an example. If you're a Christian and you're studying the teachings of the commandments.
Okay.
So what you would do in yoga, you would meditate in a posture or a pose on those teachings. The more you manifest, the more you study and meditate on those teachings, you start to learn the character or whatever the teachings are,
and the purpose behind it all.
Right.
Let me ask you something for somebody who's trying to piece this together, right? So you said something that I'm believing in or something that I'm involved in, right? And I can meditate on those specific positions. So I'm gonna give you an example, and this is not me being funny at all. Say if I'm a football player, right? And I'm trying to get much better at my position. I'm a lineman, right? And if I wanted to do yoga, I could ask somebody to give, or explore in the positions that I would be in during the game or something like that, especially if I've been taught certain techniques and certain blitz packages and all the other good stuff. I can actually go and meditate in the positions that I'm going to be in during the game, so I can connect to what I've been taught. Is that is that accurate?
That's accurate, exactly. It's the same method.
Gotcha.
It's the same method.
Gotcha. Continue, brother. Thank you.
So that is what yoga means.
Okay.
Now we get back to semi-Tai, Egyptian yoga or Kemetic yoga.
Okay.
So like I said, Tai, which means between the two lands.
Okay.
You have Set, who represents Lower Egypt. You have Heru, who represents Upper Egypt. Now, between the two, you have a good one, and you have a negative one.
Negative what? When you say one, what do you mean?
Entity. Or a person, which would be Heru. He represents your higher self.
Okay, the higher and the lower self. All right. Well, some people call it the God and the devil.
Yes, you can call them God and the devil.
All right. Some people call that. Yeah.
Right. Right. Whatever you may call, whatever you're bad and whatever you're good.
Right.
Or whatever you're negative, whatever you're positive.
Yin and yang. All right. I got you.
Right.
Got you.
So,
got you.
You have two selves, the higher self and your lower self.
All right.
And that's what Heru represents, the higher self.
Okay.
And you have Set, who represents the lower self.
Okay.
So the whole goal is, in semi-Tai, is to conquer your lower self and become your higher self.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's pretty much like a battle.
I couldn't hear you.
Is it kind of like a battle?
It's a battle.
Okay.
Within the self, between the self.
Okay.
So they have little myths that they have about Heru and Set, and they battle it out. Right. At the end of the battle, sometimes you have Heru who wins, you have Set who wins. Yeah. But at the end of everything, they both talked it out. Okay. And they worked it out. Okay. And Heru ended up conquering his lower self. Okay. All right. And this talking it out, is this the achieved balance or the bridge between the two? That's where the peace is and the meditation and the divine consciousness goes? Correct. Okay. Correct. I give you another example. Right. You read the Bible before, right? I've read bits and pieces. I'm not a biblical scholar, but I have read a passage or two. Okay, well, in the Bible they have Jesus. He's in the cave for about 30 to 40 days or something like that.
In the wilderness, yeah.
They have Jesus. You know, he's going back and forth with the devil.
Okay.
The devil telling him X, Y, and Z. You can do this if you do that. Only if you worship me or whatever the case was. They're going back and forth, back and forth.
Right. Some people call it the flesh too, right?
Right.
Right.
Jesus didn't eat or drink for those days he was there.
Okay.
So he was battling it out.
Right.
With his higher self and his lower self.
Right.
The devil would be the lower self and he would be the higher self.
Is that why people fast throughout the year and sometimes once a year just so they can battle it out and control their like carnal needs and their fleshly needs and stuff like that? Is that what they're doing?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
For a lot of people just think it's like a diet ritual and you clean it like a body they cleanse, but it's more of a spiritual battle. Like if you can conquer like your physiology and your spirituality takes over what your body is trying to crave for, then you will win. Your higher self will win. Okay. Will do.
All right. So yeah, that actually sums it up as far as the goal. Your goal in Semi-Tai way is to become enlightened, to become divine.
Okay. And what does the term divine mean to you? Or what does the actual mean?
Divine mean you would become your higher self, your good self.
Okay. All right.
That's divine.
So people who may say that, hey, I am divine, or that's a divine person, or that person is divine, and all of that good stuff. That person is victorious over their lower self. That's what divine means.
Right. Now, we all are divine beings.
Okay.
Yet, we have not been aware of that.
Okay. Elaborate on that.
Okay, we all are spiritual beings.
Gotcha.
But we all have identified ourselves with this physical form or flesh form.
Right.
So what you have on the inside, that's the real you, that's the true you.
Okay.
But on the outside is like your costume.
Okay. Your uniform for a job.
All right, your uniform.
Gotcha.
Your whole goal is to find your inner self.
Find the inner self.
That spirit, that side of you that's inside.
Define the hidden. Basically, your spirit is the hidden knowledge.
The hidden knowledge.
Okay.
So they say once you find that, you become enlightened. You become divine. Some people call it your third eye is opening.
Let me ask you this: when somebody, like say for instance, we get those emotions, right, and our flesh responds to our emotions. Like we're happy, we're scared, we're eager, we're hungry, all of those different senses, right? So say for instance, if someone is actually terrified of a certain event, and we talk about perseverance on this show all the time. So if I'm terrified of an event and I take that fear and I conquer that fear, which my physical body is experiencing at the time, but my spirit is like, regardless of what you're feeling, man, we're going to get this done, right? Is that similar to the battle that you're talking about, like overcoming that carnal fear?
Correct.
Got you. And so that inner self is always going to try. It's always at war with the outer self.
Always. Every day you're at work. You're at war.
So is there such thing as, I would say, and the reason why I'm asking this is somebody's listening right now, is there such thing as peace, or peace is our responsibility in the act of war between the higher and the lower self? Is peace what we're supposed to be creating, or is peace what we're supposed to be expecting?
Peace is what you're going to create once you conquer your lower self.
Okay. And so if we are experiencing a whole bunch of chaos in the world, and I know, and for somebody who's listening, like with me, this is like my first time. I know I would talk to you before, but these are some of the questions I ain't even asked you before. So I'm extremely interested in this because, we talk about spirituality a lot, right? So for the people who are experiencing chaos outside of their body, meaning everybody else around us that's in our society, and they're bringing chaos, right? Is it a possibility that those people who are bringing chaos to the world have not or are succumbing to their lower self?
Yeah, they're more attached to their lower self.
More attached to their lower self. So people who are just, well, a lot of people may call this materialistic, shallow. You know what I'm saying? Things that I guess exhibit a lower frame of mind. You know what I mean? Or somebody who may be focused on the wrong things. You know, those type of conversations where, man, you worried about the wrong thing, right? Or you got somebody who's stressed out over what people may think about them. That's a brand of the lower self. Would you say that?
Yes, I would. Anything that's worldly, anything that's material, all those things, anything that you desire in the world is dealing with your lower self.
Right. And so that is that right up there when Christ was talking about what profit of a man that, gain the whole world and lose his soul. He was talking about the battle then.
Yes.
Got you. Understood. Right. All right, keep going.
And that's the actual battle between you and the flesh.
So when people are actually, I think this is our conversation right now, regardless of belief systems, because I know somebody is probably freaking out right now because they never heard of this stuff before and they have no idea what we're talking about. And a lot of times when people don't know, they make assumptions, which is cool because you can't stop it, right? But one thing I realize is that the things that we're talking about right now has a lot to do with the mindset, right? And the brain, what we continuously think about. You know what I mean? Like, I know some of the things that we urge, but it takes intense concentration and meditation in order to overcome these battles. Would you say this battle of the higher and the lower self, is it completely mental?
I could say it's not completely mental.
Okay.
Because you have to start within.
All right.
In order to project, on the outside.
Okay.
What you got within, you want to project that on the outside.
Okay. All right.
So it wouldn't be just mental.
Okay. Understood.
And like, I wanted to go back on when you said, a lot of people don't know what we're talking about. They never heard of it. It can be their first time.
Right.
So now, when I was coming up, I never heard anything about none of this. We wasn't taught none of this in school or none of that.
All right.
And the guys from where I'm from, they wasn't teaching me nothing. The older guys who was in the street, they didn't know anything besides of hustling or whatever it is that they do, and they can teach you a lot about that.
Right. Right.
But they can teach you how to be true.
It's true. What is truth? Or what is true? Being true.
They can teach you, okay. They can teach you about your higher self and your lower self. When I say that, they can teach you about the inner you.
All right.
That's that voice that's inside of you.
Okay.
We was never taught to sit down at least 30 minutes out the day, or an hour out the day, and take time and just study yourself and see what's going on.
All right.
Find out who you are. We wasn't taught none of these things.
Right.
We had in school, we probably had naps we take.
Right.
A 30-minute hour nap or whatever, but never took time to really focus on ourselves, ask ourselves personal questions.
Right. Right.
Who we are, where we come from.
Right.
Who is the one that's behind these physical eyes?
Right.
Who is the observer?
It's always that interest. I always noticed that when I was growing up, I was either interested or completely terrified of what I didn't know. Like it's no in between. Either I was extremely interested or terrified of it, didn't want to know it at all, or I had to know. I was never indifferent. I was never in the middle.
Right. Well, you was programmed that way. We was taught that way.
Yeah, most definitely. I acknowledge that.
Terrified. I mean, to today, like if it's something that you don't know, you're gonna probably either fear it or you just not dealing with it. You don't want to mess with it.
And some people think it's too heavy. Some people think this is a heavy conversation we having. You know what I'm saying? Some people rather not talk about the higher and the lower self. People rather not talk about spiritual warfare. People rather not talk about the things that they have to see on a daily basis. Some people don't want to talk about some of the demons they see walking around the planet. Some people don't want to talk about other things they've seen around the planet. It's heavy. You know what I'm saying? So I guess one of the things that we're trying to do with this show, man, is just give people not only the courage, because, I think courage, that's individual. I think it's personal. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to find something that's worth fighting for on an individual basis. But we're trying to show people how to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because some people think it's too hard to talk about. And even when we start talking about counseling and stuff like that, and you're talking about a daily battle, I'm thinking about like counseling. You know how it's kind of taboo in our community. When I say our, I mean just people, period. I mean, no matter what your skin color is, some people think it's taboo to go get help, right? But the conversation we've had tonight, you're saying there's a constant battle between your higher and your lower self. There's an ongoing battle. And people who battle all the time, they often get tired. They're going to need treatment. They're going to need physical therapy. And if the battle is going on in your mind constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wouldn't you suggest that people need to go at least meditate or at least get some type of counseling so they can work some of this stuff out with someone?
That's what it's for.
Right.
That's what the meditation for. When I say it's like you're cleansing your body. You're cleansing the mental side of you, and you're also cleansing the physical side of you, and the spiritual side.
Right.
And when I say you're cleansing the mental side, that's meditating on the teachings of Semi-Tai Way.
Okay.
So all that junk you done accumulated over the years, you're now reprogramming yourself.
Okay.
So that's what I call healing and counseling at the same time.
Right.
Because you're meditating, and this teaching you to think before you take action.
Man, proper judgment.
One thing with meditation does, it teaches you to think before you take action. A lot of us just do things, don't have reason behind it, purpose or nothing. We just quick to react.
What do you think the thought process of what you just described, the critical thinking abilities or our level in our community, especially with our men, what do you think the critical thinking level is at right now for what you've seen?
Man, I want to say below a 5.
Really? On the scale of what?
Because of we have no leaders in the community.
I'm talking about on a scale from like 1 to, is it 1 to 10, 1 to 20? What is it? What's your scale?
I give you a scale from 1 to 10.
1 to 10, and it's below a 5. Okay, elaborate on what you've seen or why you say that.
Because we have no leaders.
Okay.
We have no leaders. Even when we was coming up, we didn't have leaders.
Okay. So
that's what we need. Like for manhood, you need leaders for manhood to guide the youth, the male.
Mm-hmm.
You need those leaders.
Right.
How else the youth is gonna be educated?
For sure.
You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
They don't know anything about meditating.
For sure.
They don't know anything about taking time to themselves to find out who they really are.
Exactly.
They're always getting pushed by their mother or father to go to school, to be this, to be a lawyer, to be this and that, but never take the time out. The mother or the father never took the time out to say, hey, why don't you take some time to yourself, 30 minutes a day, just take to yourself and get away from the world.
Wow. I think that would be radical for the youth, man, because I think they're saturated with distractions. And most of the stuff that we're seeing, man, they're just frustrated. That's what I see.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's not our fault. It's not our mother's fault.
Mm-hmm.
This been going on for years and years.
Centuries.
You know, we can't get mad at our mother and father because of the things they didn't know.
Right. It's just the only thing we could do is just judge off intent. Right. What were their intentions behind what they told us? You know what I'm saying? So if they told us with love, even though it might not have been, as well known as they wanted it to be, if they weren't educated as they wanted to be, the intention can tell if that was your motherly figure or your fatherly figure. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody can guide you to destruction. That's not a mother or a father, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So they can tell you what they know, but if their intention is to destroy your whole life, you know what I'm saying? I'm careful about giving people, titles of endearment like that, because just because they're teaching you don't mean they care.
You're correct.
Yeah.
And that's what I say. We don't have leaders.
Right.
The so-called leaders that we have was leading us to destruction. Like I came a long way, Chris.
For sure.
I mean, you know a few things that I've been through in my life, and
Most definitely.
it's not like for the average kid to go through.
Right.
And for me to come to yoga, I mean, man, it's been like a life changer.
For sure. And I know you mentioned earlier about some of the tragedies that you experienced as a youth. What were some of the more confusing moments in your life that kind of said, "Hey, man, I need to find something that's gonna help level me out, man"? What are some other things that you saw?
Well, when I was younger, I was in a real bad incident where it got me hurt real bad.
Okay.
So I went into a coma.
Oh, wow.
For a whole month. Okay. Came back out of the coma. You know, they told me I've been shot up. I had all these tubes plugged in me.
Wow.
Or whatever. I was like shot up at school. I got shot up at school.
At school? Oh, wow. No, then don't even answer that. Go ahead.
At Southwest Decatur.
Wow.
During summertime. So I got shot up a few times and went into a coma.
Was this in high school?
Huh?
Was this in high school or middle school?
High school.
High school, okay.
During summer school.
Okay.
I think it was the year 97.
Right.
So I went into a coma, and once I went into this coma, you know, I didn't know I was in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was actually living life, which I was living life consciously. Then once I came back to, you know, back away from the coma, mm-hmm. You know, I'm physical, I'm conscious to where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. I woke up with a lot of tubes in my body.
Right.
And they telling me this is what happened, this and that happened. I'm like, how could that happen when I was somewhere else?
Right.
So, you know, that right there showed me it was something else out there. And back then, if I would have kept talking about it, it would have put me in a crazy house, things of that nature. You know, so I knew it was something else I was missing. It was something that's out here that's more than the physical world.
So you had to practice a level of discretion, man, because you kind of can sense that some of the things that you experience, a lot of people ain't ready to hear.
All right, they wasn't ready to hear it, but you know they came out with a movie called Doctor Strange a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I like Doctor Strange. I seen that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's like I'm like, okay, this is what I experienced. I tried to explain that to them, man. They sent a psychiatrist in there to me.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
but y'all made a movie off of it. I said, well, you know what? I feel like y'all owe me some money.
That's tight. That's tight.
I was telling y'all about this some years ago. Right. 20 years ago, I was telling y'all about this.
Right. Right.
So it was, you know.
Wow.
You know, times done changed now.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of people are seeing a whole bunch of different stuff, and they probably experiencing it too, to the point where, well, one thing I will say, I've noticed that sometimes people need to catch up and live the experiences so they can get where you're coming from. Like like you said before, some of the things that you've seen as a young person, some people ain't seen till they 50 and 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you ever seen or heard somebody tell a child that they got an old soul, but then people don't understand how much that child has been through, the reason why their soul has, you know, adapted to their environment like that. Mm-hmm. They probably been through so much that they had to get wise early. You know what I mean? And so it's very critical to it. Like when we talk to the youth, man, and sometimes we just assume that they're ignorant or have a high level of ignorance because they haven't been here that long. But sometimes it's not your age, it's your experience that gives you your life skills. You know what I'm saying? Some people think just because you're 18 that you an adult. You know what I'm saying? But we got children that's running around 40, 50, 60 years old. Don't know which way is up. You know what I'm saying? But you talk to an 11-year-old, they can be like, look, man, can't file taxes right now, but I know what to do and what not to do. I know how to treat other people. I know how not to destroy myself. I know how to, you know what I'm saying? They'll break it down because they use complete intelligence. Has nothing to do with their age group. You know?
Nothing. And that's why you need meditation.
Exactly.
Meditation, it balances all of that out.
Gotcha.
Even for the kids, you know, it teaches them how to think. You know, kids you have with tempers.
Right.
You know, they don't know how to inhale and exhale to bring down that temper. You know, they don't They don't have that. They think, okay, we're gonna put you inside ISS.
Yeah, yeah.
This is it. This is where you need to be.
So
All you're doing is making them even more angrier. So he's gonna come out feeling some type of way. Man, they really still programming us. They're still programming us.
I see it.
They not allowing us to be who we are.
That's real. That's real. I've seen it all the time. As far as the young men that look like us, who and a lot of people talk about the school to prison pipeline. A lot of people don't understand it. And what I've seen of it so far, I know a lot of people write on it, and a lot of people just don't understand that there is a system set up where they can actually pinpoint certain people and kind of plan their life heading into the incarceration system. All right, in the mass incarceration, right? And what a lot of people don't understand is there's certain things set up and distractions that are set up for young people to emotionally react to. And a lot of people don't know that your emotional reactions are what is used to justify your dehumanization and your mistreatment and your misplacement. So a lot of people need to understand the game. And the reason why I really appreciate you spending time tonight on the show is because some people out there tonight are really trying to figure out, how can I respond with critical thinking, then physical action. You see what I'm saying? Because now they know, as kids, man, kids don't necessarily, and I don't want to assume, but a lot of kids may not have that ability or the opportunity to express or practice critical thinking skills before they take action, right? And so when they send them to schools and things of that nature, they have no idea what type of environment is actually being placed on the child. And so when the child actually responds in a way that is quite emotional, here come the write-ups. Here come the sanctions. Here come all these other different things. And next thing you know, the child is in ISS. And you isolate them. And then, that isolation does something for the mindset and makes people think they're not included in society. And, they may act out because they feel alone or feel abandoned. And when people feel abandoned, man, they don't really take it well. I've seen adults who feel like people left them at the club. They really don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, man, like, if you can put your mindset where a child is, and you're dealing with a child that can't control where he can go on a daily. He can't just get up and drive because he's tired of being there. You know what I'm saying? He has to go where adults take him all day, every day, And I guess I'm just trying to figure out, how important can yoga be for our young children, especially since they're frustrated? Because I'm looking at, you said the critical thinking skills in our society of men. We talking about grown men. You said it was less than 5, right?
Grown men.
Right. So if it's less than 5, man, what do you think the critical thinking abilities of our young men, 17 and under? What do you think that's at?
Honestly, I haven't seen some 17-year-old that's smarter than some 60 and 70 years old.
Me too.
But the only thing is, they have the ability to know what to do, but
right.
They don't have no one to say, hey. They don't have no one to point the way to get them started.
Right.
They're knowledgeable enough to know.
Right.
But if they see a 40, 50-year-old still acting like he's 15, 16-year-old, which way they gonna go?
That's real. Like
you said, you can be an adult in an adult body, but you haven't grew in character at all. You're still a child. Straight up.
You're right about that, bro. You're right about that. So,
but just look at the world now. Though kids are really the ones who's making it happen.
Yeah, that is true. I've noticed it. Definitely have noticed
it. Of these kids, we wasn't thinking like these kids, man.
Man, I was trying to get extra cookies and see the girl, bro.
Where did you get that from? How did you come up with that?
Now, one thing I will tell you a little bit about myself, bro, that I don't know if a lot of people may know, but when I was growing up in middle school and high school, man, I found myself, and I think some of the things that you get into your life. You get certain callings and you get certain things that just work in your favor and put you in certain positions. I was heavily involved in the counseling center in middle school and high school. Didn't even know why, but I was just there. And then I ended up being like a teacher cadet and a peer mediator. And what I was doing as a peer mediator, I really still don't even know how I got there. But I think somebody suggested that I be one, like one of my favorite teachers did. And what a lot of young men in our high school, man, they were having like these conflicts over. I ain't gonna say it's over nothing, because some of that stuff was serious, man. But they really, honestly, did not know how to critically think past their emotions of, I really want to hurt this dude because he wronged me. You see what I'm saying? And I didn't fault them for it, but I knew that they didn't know the steps to move beyond how they were feeling. And you know, I had this strategy that when no matter what happened, I told them to write it out and say, all right, after you do this to them, and then we had this activity called "And Then What?" And basically it was just a worksheet, and it had "and then what" on every line, right? So after they make a decision, everything they want to do, I had and then what on the next line, and they kept having to write what's the next step. And then at the end of the worksheet, they realized, man, that first impulse that I had, man, it really leads to absolutely nowhere. And on the piece of paper, they were looking at all the steps that got them to, I guess, back to ground zero. And they realized that all the stuff that they were feeling and wanted to do was not even worth their time and energy. And you were just talking about how that meditation really concentrates your time and energy on something that you truly believe in, on truth, not necessarily your emotions, your physical body, or what you talked about earlier, the lower self or set, right? Right. So a lot of people were just in their lower self, man, and we just did not know. I wasn't better than them because I was always angry too. I mastered the concept of it. And then what? Because I used to just think about my next step. Like, all right, after I punch Buddy in the chest, what's happening next, right? So I say, okay, that person may not like it, and he may call back up. All right, after he called back up, what's finna happen next? All right, those people come up to the school. All right, what's going to happen after that? Then after that, and win, lose, or draw, what's going to happen after that? And then more and more, I just talked it out, man. I was like, ain't none of this stuff worth it. Absolutely nothing. So I think what you're talking about, bro, like it's actually going to save some lives. Hopefully, somebody who's listening tonight. And I definitely I'm going to record it and put it up for people to share with just people, because I think people of all ages can actually benefit from our conversation. But I will tell you this, bro. I think what you're doing is amazing. I would just say, I'm proud of you individually, and I'm proud of you socially, or what you're available to share with us tonight, man. Because really, you're helping people you've never met before, and whatever you've seen in your life, man, you know that it's imperative that you share it. And the lack of leadership that you noted to earlier. I think you are filling that void by having this conversation with me over the radio. And so I just wanted to tell you, appreciate it. And I'm proud of the fact of what you've done with your life situation. Because I got threatened before, but I've never been actually shot. You see what I'm saying? I've never been in no coma, not that I know of. I mean, I sleep hard, but that ain't no coma. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I know some people thought I was, and I was just like, no, I just, ate Waffle House too late. So, and that'll do it to you. You eat All-Star at 2 a.m, you will never be an All-Star again. So, but no, this just letting you know, that's major props to you, bro. I just want to say that from man to man.
I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it.
Straight up.
Just let you know, Semi-Tyway ATL.
Yeah.
Is a place where you can come to.
Where is it located?
I'm actually off Moreland right now, Moreland Avenue in East Atlanta. Okay. And my schedule is Mondays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay.
And Fridays from 6:30 to 7:30. And Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 10.
9 to 10 a.m.
I'm really focused on the youth, trying to get more of the youth in there.
Right.
Yoga, because it's so much fun we can have with yoga. Yoga, people, like I say, put yoga out there. Yeah. They put it as something that they can sell.
Yeah, that's true.
That's posture. True. So they're so far away from the meaning of yoga.
Right.
They're more into the postures, who can do the best posture of this and that.
Right, and don't even know what they're doing.
Don't know what they're doing.
I'm thinking, what you just said, man, I'm thinking about Little League football teams, basketball teams, like I mean, even church choirs, man. Like I'm thinking like groups of youth. Like if they ever wanted, like I know some people may not understand or running out of ideas of what they can do for their youth groups or whatever. I'm thinking about the Boys and Girls Club. I'm thinking about YMCA's. I'm thinking about all types of groups of kids that could benefit from the art of yoga, man. I actually seen some on Facebook not too long ago where they actually did yoga instead of I would say, they, you know those connection classes where they go outside, play basketball, baseball, and all that stuff. But they actually added yoga into this elementary school, and they said, man, the conflicts in the school have plummeted. Like it's almost non-existent because people have mastered the art of critical thinking with problem solving and using their logic. So I think, go ahead.
You know, they're starting to balance the body and the mind.
Right.
So the body and the mind are starting to become one, and that's what I mean by truth.
Right.
At the same time, truth.
Right.
The body and the mind is one.
Exactly, bro. So, tell the people how they can contact you again. Do you have to do appointments? Do they need to reach out to you way ahead of time to let you know they're on the way, or what's the most efficient way of getting appointments with you or attending your classes?
Right now, you can actually go to my page at my Facebook page, Semi-Taiway ATL, and request an appointment. You can message me. You can email me at Semi-Taiway ATL Yoga.
And that's TAUI?
SMAI TAUI ATL at gmail.com.
SAMI
SMAI TAUI
ATL at Gmail?
ATL at Gmail.
Got you.
And my Instagram page is Semi-Taiway ATL. That's spelled SMAI _ TAUI .ATL _ yoga.
_yoga.
And Wednesdays I'm at Anytime Fitness from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that's Anytime Fitness in Decatur, Georgia, off Flat Shoals Parkway.
Off Flat Shoals.
So if you have kids, family, it don't matter. I want all you guys to join me.
Oh, that's real talk.
You all.
That's real talk, man. Yeah, man. I think that's gonna be quite beneficial, man. I got some friends of mine. We're trying to, we're thinking about business, and we're trying to think about health. We're trying to think, academics. We're trying to pretty much enhance all aspects of life right about now, man. I think I can definitely benefit from this, man. So you'll be hearing from me whatever I'm in the A. You know what I mean? And I'll definitely reach out to you, man. Can you, how did you feel? I know we had our conversation. We actually build, had a good build with each other around Cedar Grove Homecoming last year, right? What did you hear about the show, Manhood Mindset? Did you catch a couple of episodes or whatnot, or how did you find out about the show?
Well, I found out about the show because I kept seeing you on the page.
For sure.
That's how I found out about the show you was on there. I was like, hey, Chris talking some good stuff. Hey,
for sure.
That's where I need to be at. So then you end up showing up at the homecoming game. I was like, hey, Chris, you got to get me on that show, man.
For sure.
Like what y'all talking about? Like I'm with unity.
Yeah.
I'm with bringing the community together.
For sure.
You always want to have good character, and you always want to have a good reputation.
For sure.
What I mean by that, you want to be known in your community.
Right.
You want to be known from helping. You want to be known as a family man for taking care of the family.
Right.
And you want to be known if people call your name out, they can say, hey, that's a good man.
Right.
So, I just want to be in the community any way I can to help and share this information that I have.
For sure.
And maybe it can help anyone, who can relate to it, or who can take the same path or something close to the path that I took. Because you never know what a person could be going through in life or what they've been through in life.
Exactly. Exactly, man. All right. So we almost to the end of our show, man. What we try to do on Manhood Mindset is we basically try to end the show with talking to that young person, that young man or that young woman who's listening to the show. We try to, imagine that they're between the ages of 8 and 16 or something like somebody who's growing up and may not understand what we're talking about, but they're old enough to be interested and ask questions about what we're talking about. We try to imagine that person who was in desperate need of what we talked about tonight, man. So if you were face to face with a young person that needed to hear some encouragement, man, there's a lot of things that's been going on. They've been distracted. They've been very, very frustrated. They're not only experiencing turmoil in school, but they have a lot of distractions and either violence or any type of just disturbances at home too, man. They really don't have a place of peace. What would you say to that young person?
Well, I would tell them, the youth, I would tell the youth to study themselves.
Okay.
And when they're done, I would tell them again to go study themselves.
Right, because it's more to you than you ever imagined.
Right. And I've learned that from Noble Drew Ali. I don't know if you ever heard of Noble Drew Ali.
Please enlighten us real quick. Well, not real quick, but honestly, give him honor, man. It's the
Noble Drew Ali.
Mm-hmm.
He's the prophet of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
The Moorish Science Temple of America.
Right. He the one who bought the blacks back their nationality.
All right, and elaborate on that. So the blacks back nationality. Elaborate on what that means for people who never heard of this before.
Nationality means that you're a part of a nation.
Okay.
You're from a nation, and that nationality has a flag as well that connects you to the soil.
Okay.
Of that nation.
Okay.
So you might have, say for instance, you got the Latinos or you got the Africans.
Mm-hmm.
They have a nationality and they have a flag that represents them and their nation.
Right.
So during the slave period, all of that was taken away from us. Our nationality, who we was.
Yeah.
They stripped us from our names.
Your identity, your language, culture, all of that.
Right. And gave us new names.
Right.
Noble Drew Ali, he came back and brought us back our nationality and told us you're not slaves, you're not niggers, you're not X, Y, and Z, you're not all these names that they're giving you.
Right. Right.
You have a nationality. You're from a nation. You have a nation. And he called that the Moorish nation.
The Moorish nation. All right.
Yes.
All right. And so people who want to look up a little bit more on Noble Drew Ali, what would you guide them to look into?
You can go to the Moorish Science Temple of America and you can just look up the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what state you're in. They have a temple in each state.
Really? Okay.
All right. And that's actually that was actually my foundation.
Wow.
That's where I started to wake up at.
Wow. And when did you get exposed to the Moorish Science Temple?
About 11 years ago.
Wow. Okay, so that kind of that kick-started your quest for knowledge and your journey to search for yourself. Understood. So a lot of people, man, if you trying to search for some type of identity or you're still struggling and finding yourself, man, hey, you might want to look up H.E. Kemet, look up the Moorish Science Temple of America, look up your history, man, look up everything that's ever actually went down, man. You'd be surprised. We have been extremely miseducated, ladies and gentlemen. I suggest you go out there and take your education in your own hands and do it without fear. Do it courageously and do it unapologetically. Go out there and try to find out who you are, who you related to, where your folks from, man. And be careful of calling things what other people call you. You know what I'm saying? So I know we got a whole bunch of labels. I know we got groups and all of those different things, man. You got to be careful of identifying with a group that has a description rather than a definition. All right. So when you're being described, that means somebody who's looking at you has the power over your name or your identity. So if your label is a description, that means it has something to do with how somebody else saw you, not what you called yourself. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
All right. So one more time, man, give the people your information so they can contact you directly if they want to set up appointments or or they want to come by and support your work. One more time.
Okay, this Semi-Tyway ATL. I'm in East Atlanta, off of Moreland Ave. That's 496B Moreland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, 30316 is the area code.
All right.
That's in East Atlanta.
Do you have flyers and stuff with all that information on it?
Yes, I have flyers and all. You can actually go to my page, Semi-Tyway ATL, and you can go to my Facebook page as well, Semi-Tyway.
Real talk, man. All right. Any closing remarks or any closing messages you want to say before we close the show?
That'll round it up. And again, continue to study yourself.
For sure.
Study yourself. If anything, please hear that. Study yourself.
For sure.
Because nothing is like, you don't know nothing until you experience it yourself.
Right, man. So basically, let me run down this stuff, man, for just in case somebody came in a little bit late on the show, man. We talked about Semi-Tyway. We on the show with Basu Ari Makhet. All right, and Basu is that instructor or teacher?
Yeah, that means a Kemetic instructor.
Kemetic instructor. Let me make sure I have that right, man. Kemetic.
Or Egyptian instructor.
Gotcha. Kemetic instructor. All right. And Ari Makhet means what? For the people that just not listening in.
Ari Makhet means the protector of scales.
Protector of scales.
Balance of scales. Ma'at is the goddess of Egypt, and all the gods and goddesses and all the people, they lived up under the law of the 42 laws of Ma'at.
42 laws of Ma'at. Man, I'm writing all this stuff down, man. I'm finna go look at this stuff tonight.
And Ari Makhet means the protector of the scales, meaning, okay, Ma'at represents the feather. So we put a feather on the scale, and they will put your heart on the other side.
Sure.
If your heart weighs more than the feather, then that's how you would be judged.
So it's whatever's in your heart that actually tells your character and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, all that karma, everything that you've done. Yeah, wrapping it up to see what's good and what's bad.
That's real, bro. So, Ari, man, thank you so much, man, for attending Manhood Mindset, man. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for the people you've helped based off sharing your story and your expertise tonight, brother. I really am appreciative of your time and your effort, and I'm proud to know you, bro. And so, if you don't mind, man, just continue teaching, continue helping, and I'll be reaching out to you, man. We need to have you on the show again, man. If you don't mind, what you think?
Yeah, I don't mind coming out. I thank you guys for having me. If we can, I love to come down there and we can do it in person.
For sure. Yeah, you know what? I think that has to happen, bro. Because people need to see who you are and understand the story. Because sometimes the story gets a little bit more in depth when you see the person who actually went through that journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for attending Manhood Mindset at WVGS 91.9 Buzz. We're located in Statesboro, Georgia. We're here every Monday night, next Monday night, 8 o'clock sharp, man. Thank y'all so much for bearing with us. We had a little scheduling difficulty tonight, but thank y'all so much for being patient and still being loyal, man. We Manhood Mindset. And like I said all the time, man, make sure you love yourself, or the world will convince you to love it, man. We'll love y'all, man. We'll holler at y'all next week. Peace. Noise.